Okay, so I'm going to have a shitty mic this time, so I apologize for that. And I will be outside walking my local trail near where I live. So if any kind of weird sounds, it's probably a Sasquatch attacking me. But I was able to play the newest remake, Halo Campaign Evolved, at an event in Redmond, Washington at Halo Studios /343, and I gotta say, pretty unimpressed. And as always, the quote-unquote Halo YouTubers were able to play the exact same thing I did. And honestly, I don't think they're doing anyone any favors by sugarcoating or going easy on this studio for access. I understand kind of what the economy is on YouTube. I'm not a creator per se, but I play games. Like, one of my earliest memories are watching my brother play StarCraft, and have been playing Halo since Halo 2. It was the first game my parents got for me on the Xbox that Christmas. I want to say 2005, and I've been in love ever since with this franchise specifically. And I'm kind of confused because it seems like the only issues that people are having are graphics and art style. And I understand those are like some of the most important for the vibe. But I've never understood why gameplay isn't first. Because just copying and pasting 2001 Halo CE is just not, that just doesn't cut it. There's mods I've been playing, especially some like, insane mods like the Halo CE Havoc mod, where you're storming the beach with 20 other Marines, all going full auto on Covenant ass, which is way more fun gameplay wise than what I played at the studio. And I'm not saying that they should literally just make Havoc mod or go completely out like crazy, but like, what are you doing with a remake if you're just copying and pasting? I understand. I'm not a fan of remakes in general. Like, I played the my first remake, I remember. I played that first, which is what they want. They want you to play the remake first if you've never played Halo, and then maybe the Master Chief Collection afterwards. Every corporation wants you to buy and play their new thing. So whoever hasn't played Halo yet, they are going to be playing the remake, and I understand it's an early build, but they're not changing the assets. They're going to have Halo Infinite assets, which is, besides just being lazy, this doesn't fit the aesthetic, which everyone has said. But the gameplay, too, is just an inferior version of Infinite. So it's literally zooming in on the assault rifle, which I don't really have an exact problem with by itself. I like the mods that allow me to do it. But you just need to be honest as a studio. That's why I asked them. I literally asked one of the people designing the game, in front of his boss, I think Pierre Hinsa was there. I asked him, I was like, are you guys going to remake the game? Or are you going to make it faithful to the game, which is basically more of a remaster? He said a remake. And he said they also want it to be faithful. It's like, that's an oxymoron. And, just be honest. I don't know why they can't make a game for a new generation and just have your own way with it, I guess. I'm not going to buy it. But a lot of fans who fell in love with the original stuff, they're not going to buy it. Which is fine. I brought a friend with me to the event. He's not into politics. He's not into the console war bullshit. I'm not into that either. But he's like wouldn't call him a normie, but he's about there. He's very, I think his tastes are very much that of like the millennial market, I would say. So I don't know much about the Gen Z market because they're the ones playing Fortnite and everything. But if someone like him, and he has played before Halo, He played with me back in the day, but if he had never played it before, I asked him, I was like, if you didn't have nostalgia for this game, would you buy it? He just said no. Well, first of all, it doesn't have multiplayer. So you're getting like an inferior experience right off the bat from everyone else who bought the game in 2001. Like, you could have System Link back in the day. I don't think you could do that now. 4-player co-op is great, but I mean, they haven't announced this yet, but are they going to design levels differently based on how many people are there and the difficulty? That's a lot of designing. It would make sense that after all their games of not giving us local co-op or whatever, that they would make a game completely about it, but it just probably isn't going to be that way. I think no multiplayer because they're going to have their free-to-play stuff coming up. But yeah, I just don't really see anybody buying this unless they're basically tricked into it. From what I have played, it's literally an inferior version of Halo Infinite. It's Halo Infinite gameplay-wise and aesthetically without the grapple shot, which I was tricked into buying Infinite by my own nostalgia, basically. It wasn't their marketing. I just wanted to play Halo. A new Halo. Played the multiplayer with my friends who I used to play it back on Xbox with, and was just like, well, this is okay. I'm sure the campaign will be better. And I was wrong. So, I don't know, you got me. You got my $60 or whatever out of me, and I'm probably never going to buy anything from you ever again. But I guess that's what they want. They want to trick people into buying something with nostalgia goggles and marketing, and then try to do it again later if people forget. But anyway, yeah, the demo itself is the same one as all the YouTubers played. The Assault on the Control Room, the Silent Cartographer, and yeah, I mean, the cinematics are cool. I don't personally mind them that much, but I kind of wish they were less. They look like Halo, or you. I hate the way the mouths look. I don't think the aesthetic looks good at all. But like the having pre-rendered cutscenes, I don't think is a big deal at all. I think that actually fits really well with Halo. It is very cinematic in general as a game, and I don't know if anybody could argue against that. It's supposed to be kind of the point, but yeah, I think nobody had issues with Halo 2 Anniversary cutscenes. I kind of wish they would have the same kind of realistic style as that instead of this weird kind of Unreal Engine 5 looking stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I had the same issue with Expedition 33 with their weird, I don't know if it's just the women. I think it's the guys too, their mouths. Come here, buddy. Come on. Come on, bud. Anyway, I don't want to ramble too much. I'm not a YouTube person, so I don't have a script or anything right now. But yeah, I'm just walking and kind of reminiscing on what I saw. So I will say one thing. Super nice guy. I talked to him. I also went to the same event last year. I'm not going to say the event because I don't want to, if for some reason they see this, I don't want them to cancel that event and ruin it for everybody else. But yes, of course, very grateful for everything they did for us. Very kind, very accommodating. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think we're doing, like I said before, I don't think we're doing anybody any favors by going easy on these people. I mean, who does their best work in an echo chamber? You know, I'm an engineer. I'm an aerospace engineer. If someone's just telling me my work is good all the time, planes are going to be falling out of the sky. And this is, the equivalent of a video game is you have to have people critiquing your work. You have to. There's a backlash. You have to choose whether or not to change because sometimes fans are idiots, but Halo fans are not idiots. I don't think, I do think that the original Bungie Halo trilogy, that was, and they've admitted it themselves, that was lightning in a bottle. I don't think they can, like, if that same exact team got together now, they could not recreate that. I don't think they could. They could make something vaguely similar. I don't think I would sell really well, probably because the old gang's back. But frankly, I mean, if I was in the military. If I go back to the military and I'm 34, 35, 40 years old, I try to do the same stuff I was doing back then, it's not going to work out well for anybody. I'm kind of surprised that the approach with a lot of these games is like Microsoft seems not worried at all about continuity of a studio. Like they're, it is the future, I guess, but they're outsourcing a lot of stuff to AI, and they think that can replace people instead of just making that another tool that people can use. It just speeds this stuff up. I mean, one of the big things that I think is going to make or break this is if it's mediocre and it's just campaign evolved, everybody kind of makes fun of it like we did with Halo 5 and 4. If they would just come out with another game in a couple years, I don't want it to happen, but if they do a Remake 2, Remake 3, I think those are who need a remake. The remake, if you had to do any of them, would be Halo 2. That is the most famously unfinished game out of the entire thing, and I don't think that's very controversial. In my opinion, that game had the best writing. If they touched the writing, I would be pissed personally. And it's not just because that's my first Halo game, it's because that's objectively the best writing in the entire trilogy. Like, that set the standard, which, I could maybe have a lot of hot takes, but Halo 3 has the worst writing in the entire, especially, dialogue especially. The events are okay, but god damn, the Prophet of Truth, they fucked them up. But anyway, so back to the campaign evolved again. So I'm gonna keep rambling. This is obviously a alpha, maybe pre-alpha, whatever, but I tried to do little basic try to run people over, or run grunts or elites over. I couldn't even tell if I hit them because there's no visual feedback except for them falling to the ground. Sometimes if you hit an elite in any of the games, you don't hit them all the way. Maybe their shields will go away. There's some kind of flare, miniature explosion on their shield, and it goes away. But yeah, I had no idea. Even when I was shooting them, this is stuff that could be patched, obviously. And it probably will be fixed, especially the shield stuff. That seems somewhat easy, but no shield flares. The behavior was very weird. I might have to, actually decide to start making actual videos, which I think I will. I'm just tired of sitting back and watching everyone else say, and I nod and agree, and I like their... of everybody saying what they think is needed, and it's just usually pretty incorrect, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I'll probably edit that out. But yeah, so one of the things I wish they would focus on, you can get your established art style, that's totally fine. Hey, it's infinite, whatever. If you make the gameplay amazing, which in my mind, if I were to remake it and I had godlike powers, I know nothing about game development, I would keep the music somewhat the same, and that's not gatekeeping or worshipping Marty. I just think the music fits, but it fits a certain aesthetic. So when I think of, Walk in the Woods or the Halo theme song, everybody who's played the games before, they think about a certain image in their head. When I think about the Pillar of Autumn, I'm not thinking about Halo colonial marine looking Marines. So they need to match the music, and that's all part of the vibe. They need to match that perfectly, or at least better than Infinite. But if they're going to keep with Infinite, they need to change the music at least. Which, at this point, just make a different game. But either way, if I was making the remake, I mean, I've seen some models out there for the high definition Halo CE Marines that are just, they look very unique. I'll give them that. Realistic with that kind of blocky armor, I mean, it would look amazing. But I would, of course, it has to be mature. I would add dismemberment. So one of my favorite mods for Halo is the Mythic mod, and like especially Halo shooting a grunt or a jackal or whatever, especially jackals, their arms fly off, their head explodes, and it's like the perfect. I wish they had that in Reach, especially being so gritty. But two of the grittiest games I've seen in the Halo franchise were CE and Reach, which I don't think was a mistake. So I kind of wish they would add dismemberment, especially. And the other thing I wish they would add would be, I mean, honestly, I would have a comical amount of blood. And it would be obviously rated M, which should just be the standard for these games anyway. But yeah, so I would just kind of double down on everything that made the game good aesthetically. Gameplay wise, like I said, dismember. It seems like we've been fighting literally the same exact enemies throughout the entire trilogy, I guess, sextology, all these games, which is, I understand that it's, you know, perfectly designed from stage one, but they don't change the AI at all. Like, I wish, besides shield strength and weapon damage, I'm just surprised that they, you know, haven't evolved the AI at all. Like, the AI, as you increase the difficulty, it should be deadlier along with your own allies. I don't think we need to keep playing the same exact Halo 1, Halo 2 style enemies. Doing the same stuff. Like, we can't have... Okay. So I guess what I'm trying to say, I would have made the game bloodier. I'd have made the game much more intense on heroic and legendary. I would make the allies especially much deadlier. The humans should be more of a glass cannon, I think. That the weapons that they're using should be tearing apart the Covenant, and the weapons from the Covenant should be burning the hell and melting these Marines and the crewmen of the Pillar of Autumn. And I think if you keep with the CE aesthetic, you can actually make sense in universe, where these armor plates that the Marines are wearing, they actually, you watch them when they get hit in the chest or hit in the arm by a plasma bolt, they would actually, you would see it melting, and then they would pull, like in the military, our body armor, you have a tab in the front, kind of up near your throat area. You pull it and your entire body armor kind of falls off. You can pull it off. And it's for that exact reason. If you get shot, it cracks your plate, and that's the only thing it's expected to do is one shot. And they could translate this over, you know, military sci-fi shooter, take that idea and have this CE Marines, if they get hit in the shoulder plate, in their leg plate, any of these vital areas, you actually watch them take off that plate and they no longer have it as it's melting. That'd be really cool, very immersive, and I don't think that would be that crazy with this new technology to do that. And the same thing with the Covenant, is you should see when these weapons hit, you should be able to see entry wounds, exit wounds, their armor's cracked from a freaking, the 50 cal Desert Eagle Magnum hitting a lead in the face. He should be tearing his mandibles off. His brain should be shooting out the back of his head, and his helmet should be flying off or cracking. Like, that would be sick. I would buy it just to see that. So I think what I will do, I'm a little bit busy now, but I think what I will do eventually is just, I will lay out my own remake. But that's the kind of stuff I'd want to see. To keep the story somewhat the same, and I would just crank the violence up to 11, which is exactly what I think they would do if they had the technology back then. It would be curious to see what they would say. But yeah, I mean, I would make it basically, because of another mod, Brutality Evolved, which I have not played. But the Brutality mod, if you made that canon, would be pretty sick. Not exactly, but stuff from it. And I think that this new technology, it needs to be used if you're going to remake a game to make it better a version of what it is. So yeah, the coolest thing I saw as far as immersion was on the beach. The grunts, when I was shooting them, they would be running away from me, and one of the grunts was standing with his right hoof on the rock and his left foot was in the sand, and I think I shot him in his arm or something. He kind of went over to his left, leaned over to his left and put his left arm in the ground, and then his left arm and his left hoof had a bunch of sand on it because he was on the beach. I was like, that's what I want to see. That's the kind of stuff that I want to see, and I'm hoping that they have a whole year left. I'm not sure, I don't know these devs and I don't know their schedule, but like I said, it would be cool if that'd be something other I would add. If they're in the water, they're in the sand, you go look at their body after you kill them, you should be able to see that stuff all over their body in a certain place. I mean, that's what I wanted to see. That's what I was hoping when I was, playing Halo 2. I was assuming in 30 years, 25 years, whatever, that's the kind of stuff that it would be. But yeah. So I probably, as you can tell, I said it before, I'm not going to be buying this. I don't think I'll buy, especially on day one, anything that these people make, which, like I said, these people by themselves, they are kind. They were welcoming to me. I'm not shitting on them as a person. But you have to hold these people to a standard, especially when these people have, near unlimited resources, and not literally them, but their company does. If Microsoft doesn't care about their formerly franchise mascot, which I guess they don't, because Xbox is basically dead at this point, you just have to hold them to a standard. Nobody does any good work without being held to a standard. Nobody, not me, not you. And we just have to, basically with the Halo community as a whole, and I hope we would be a community, is in the past we could trust Bungie, and this is why people like Bungie. People don't like Bungie because of nostalgia. They like Bungie because they had a higher standard for their games than we had for them. And that's the thing that makes me angry about today's gaming landscape, is there is no standard. There's no objective standard. And I honestly don't know why. I work for one of the biggest corporations on earth, and they should be held to a standard. I work in the aerospace industry, not as life-changing or as, life-altering as the video game industry, but video games aren't nothing. Especially today, they are the apparatus, the largest one for entertainment. And people kind of act like entertainment isn't anything. Like it's just a hobby. And yes, it is a hobby, but in today's world especially, video games are important, especially to people who have a lot of stuff going on. I know a lot of people who kept their sanity during really bad times, whether it was family being sick, being deployed in the military, going through financial hardship yourself. Even me, especially during COVID, all of us felt this. How many people would have gone insane if you didn't have some kind of escapism? That stuff is important. And this is why a lot of people have very passionate opinions about, especially Halo. It's because this stuff got them through rough times. It formed their childhood. And when you don't hold these companies to a standard, they get, to take advantage of you. They will take advantage of you. This isn't some small studio in a basement somewhere making a game out of pure love. These people want your money. And that's about it. They don't really care whether or not some sick kid can see himself as Master Chief destroying the Covenant, winning a battle when he's losing in real life. That's what I think. Like, my friend was hospital ridden when he was first playing Halo. And I remember him telling me this, but he reminded me of this when we were at the studio and how awesome it was to see all this stuff, especially Halo 2. He was bedridden for years, and he was playing Halo. His parents got him Halo 2 to make him feel better. I mean, this stuff is more serious than any one of us wants to admit. And it's, self-evident because these corporations and the governments, they're funding video games to push their ideology, which, I don't want to make this a political thing at all, but that's, it is important because messages seep through very, very, subliminally. And that's kind of the issue with politics today in video games, is it's not subliminal. So you'll probably be able to hear rain now. So I apologize for that. These are indeed rainy, deep, dark woods. I think I'll take a picture of them for the thumbnail on this, but either way, so my biggest takeaway from the demo was basically feeling nothing. Like, I was playing Halo Reach and the Havoc mod in my car on my Steam Deck before I went in to play the demo. I mean, it was literally inferior to both. I enjoyed the 30 seconds of fun, as they say, of Infinite, but I mean, it just wasn't replayable in that way. So I remember, I've only played through Infinite one time. I don't remember the name of any of the villains. I remember Atriox because I did play Halo Wars 2, but he's not the villain of the game. I think if they made a really, really successful game, it would kind of make sense to make it the same as far as art style, but even then, it's just lazy. Everyone thinks that's lazy. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I just felt nothing. I didn't feel bad. It wasn't bad. But it's, me personally, if I was a janitor, I don't want someone to come into the room I just cleaned and feel nothing. I want them to feel like it's fucking clean. If I'm making a remake of one of the most beloved games of all time, I would be surveying, which they didn't. They just let us play it very non-invasive, didn't ask our opinion on it. And I will be honest with them if they ask me. But I would just say, guys, this just isn't it. This is not good enough. If you're going to call it, especially campaign evolved, only include the campaign. And this stuff's got to blow people away. And it's very interesting that they dropped their UE5 teaser, and it gets pretty mixed results. But it's like, do people really want a remake of a game you already remastered? Or did they want you to remake your own games that weren't successful? I don't know. I mean, you have what they call the Halo cycle, where when a new game comes out, people look back 2 games and they call that one a masterpiece, or overrated, or underrated, I should say. And it's just like, no. If you were there, you should remember and just trust your gut in the moment. People are going back because they got abused by the newest husband coming in, thinking that their husband from 2 times ago, well, they were less abusive, so they're awesome. It's like, no. Have one objective standard for all these games, please, God. That's literally the most annoying part of all this Halo discourse. It isn't people opining for the old stuff. It's the people who are new or overly positive. It's like, what are your standards? Again, I will come back to standards every single time. It's like, it makes me think, if you think mediocre games are okay, what does that say about you as an individual, as a person? That you go to your job and just coast by? It's like, I don't blame you if you do, depending on your job. But it's like, me personally, I don't like mediocre crap. So I don't buy a lot of new games. Some of the new games I do, like, it's going to piss a lot of people off. But Expedition 33, it's like, pretty good game. I will replay it one day. I played it and I liked it a lot. I go online and everyone's just glazing it like it's the greatest thing ever made. And it's just like, I can make a whole different, rant on that. But yeah, man, I don't know what happened to standards. It's just blowing my mind at this point. So I'm going to be ending my rainy walk in the woods here sometime soon. I think I'll just wrap up with what I said a little bit before. I will sum up my thoughts and just say this is what I would make the remake as. If I was the godlike entity that I wish I was. But yeah, so number one, Dismemberment 100% belongs and should be in all the Halos. Number two, the story, I mean, you have to double down on one side or the other. You can't, that's why I'm assuming with this game, the Forerunners are humans, or they are not. Like, me personally, I think it's way better that they're human. That's just me. If you think it's better that there's some kind of weird Nosferatu-looking disgusting animal, that's cool too, but I think it just makes way more sense, and I think Bungie knew Halo a lot more than the people making it now from a story perspective. So if it was me, I would stick with that. I would double down, and I would literally make it clear from that game on, your remake on, that Halo has Forerunners be human or not. You just have to pick a lane at this point. Stop going in between and stop, wish-washing. The next thing I would do would stick with the old music. But if you do, you have to have the old aesthetic. They just fit together. I'd basically double down. I mean, if the Halo Marines look like they did in Halo CE, the best thing for your artist to do would be kind of take that and make an elite version of that for the ODSTs. Yeah, I mean, the ODST version of those blocky Marines, and we've only seen them in mods that fans have made, but I would make an official version of the CE ODSTs. And I mean, not just my preference, I would give them a purple visor like in Halo 2. I think that looks really badass. It's kind of my favorite version of the ODST visor, is the Halo 2 Anniversary of all things. But yeah, I think that the purple just looks amazing. And another thing I think that they should do is, if they were planning, which sounds like leaks have mainly been true about these, they should have some kind of mission, or, I mean, I'm not a fan of this, but they, bare minimum, have to acknowledge that the Arbiter, or at this point, what is it, Thel 'Vadam, that he is involved with the ring somehow, commanding the forces there. But he needs to be in the story somehow. I would prefer gameplay. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why, if you're remaking a game and then you're going to remake Halo 2, why you would not have the Arbiter in there somehow. Because that was kind of something I don't think a lot of people liked, was him kind of coming out of nowhere. I remember that was one of my least favorite parts of Halo 2, was playing as the Arbiter, because I didn't know who the hell he was. But that's kind of my fault, because I didn't play Halo 1. But even if you play Halo 1, he's not in there. And I actually think one of the things I'll give them, which I didn't get to play, but I did actually ask one of the volunteers there, who works at the studio. I asked him about the missions, the 3 extra ones that we're going to get, I guess. And he couldn't tell me specifically, obviously, but he just said he thinks that everyone would like him, which, you throw Sergeant Johnson in something, I'm sure everyone will love it, including myself. But I've always thought that, I wouldn't say playing as him specifically, but playing as some kind of Marine, I think everyone's always wanted that. We played as an ODST in the Halo 3 ODST. But besides that, it's like, people have been kind of starved for that. I mean, these extra missions are a good opportunity to see how people react to it. Just 3 missions, you can make it Sergeant Johnson or whoever. Especially if it was Johnson, be very interesting to see, you're the player, exceptionally deadly as the player, but imagine these missions are an opportunity to show why the Marines worship Spartans, why they worship the Master Chief specifically. Like, show him as an AI just mowing down these people or coming to your aid, saving your ass. Like, who wouldn't want to see that? It reminds me, I'm thinking as I'm talking about this, about in Halo Wars, when I think it's the Battle for Arcadia, that one mission that's almost impossible to do on the hardest difficulty. But the cinematic in the beginning, it's, you've only played as human regular Marines, and then the iconic monks come on as you see not one, not two, but a dozen Spartans running by the camera. It's like they could do that gameplay wise, but with the Master Chief, or I don't know how much prior these missions could take place, but they could do all of Blue Team, which would be fucking sick, in my opinion. But yeah, I don't know. Give us some Marine perspective, Jesus. And no, the arcade game Fireteam Raven doesn't count as this. But yeah, I don't think, they can't make the perfect game for everybody, but I think that if you cater to kind of the core fan base, I mean, that's what makes a quality game, in my opinion. If you don't want to do that, just make your own game. No one would blame 343/Halo Studios for making their own crap. Like, I'm sure Microsoft won't let them, but especially with all the remake, I don't think this remake would be announced or worked on if it wasn't for the Resident Evil remakes. And yeah, I mean, those have been relatively successful. I really liked Remake 2, even though it's literally nothing like the original Resident Evil, which I have not played. But I played the remake Resident Evil 2, and I don't think I'm very, I'm not a unique gamer myself, but when I play a remake before the original, I really want to play the original. So I do own it on GOG. And yeah, I mean, I played through the original, or I want to play through the original. I played through the remake. It'll be very interesting to see, because I remember growing up, I never played any Resident Evils till like last year. And people loved it, obviously. And yeah, I want to see what all the hype's about, basically, but that's obviously unrelated to this. So, okay, this has been long enough. I've had like over an hour walk, so I'm gonna cut this off. But my general thoughts, I mean, unimpressive, unnecessary, make something new. All right, guys, bye.